The Galactic Concord ruled most of the known stars. It was not an empire of one species, but a cold alliance of many, old, powerful civilizations that had survived millions of years by one rule above all others. Never underestimate a species capable of war. That rule, ironically, was about to be broken. The Concord Assembly Hall floated above the gas giant Ulthar Prime, a massive ring of black alloy and blue light. Inside, representatives of 47 species hovered, crawled, slithered, or stood upon platforms designed to accommodate almost any biology. At the center of the chamber, a hologram of a small blue planet rotated slowly. Designation, Sol 3, announced the archivist drone in a flat metallic tone. Local name, Earth. A ripple of amusement passed through the chamber. The Krell ambassador clicked his mandibles together in mock curiosity. That is the species still divided into nations, yes? Yes, replied the archivist. Internal conflict frequency remains high. Technological level, pre-hyperlane. Population, 8 billion. 8 billion. The word carried no weight here. Entire species had been wiped out for less. High Strategist Valor of the Threxian Dominion leaned forward, his armored plates reflecting starlight. They have not unified. They still argue over borders and beliefs. Why are we discussing them at all? Because something had changed. The hologram shifted. Images flashed, human probes reaching beyond their system, crude fusion drives, primitive AI assistants, radio signals screaming into the void like a child shouting in the dark. They have accelerated, said the archivist. Their technological growth curve is irregular. That caused silence. Irregular growth was dangerous. Most species advanced slowly, predictably. Humans did not. Still the laughter returned. The Lurathi speaker, a being of soft light and tendrils, pulsed with mild interest. They have no planetary shield. No energy weapons capable of harming a Concord vessel. Their fleets are chemical and fusion-based. Stone throwers, someone muttered. Valor raised a claw. I propose early containment. Annex their system. Remove the risk before it matures. The chamber murmured in agreement. Only one voice spoke against it. Ambassador Celine Ward of Earth. She stood alone on a gravity platform adjusted to human standards. No armor. No natural weapons. Just a dark uniform and steady eyes. You are making a mistake, she said calmly. Several representatives turned their sensory organs toward her. Humans were still new to the Concord, recently discovered, recently contacted, and invited only as observers. Explain, Valor said, his tone indulgent. Celine met his gaze. You see division. You see chaos. You think that makes us weak. She paused. You're wrong. A low chittering sound passed through the chamber, laughter in several alien languages. The Krell ambassador leaned forward. Your species has not fought a true interstellar war. You have never faced extinction by an external force. Celine nodded once. That's true. Then she added, because we never survived long enough as a species that wasn't fighting something. The room quieted just a little. Earth is a death world, Celine continued. Predators, disease, natural disasters, scarcity. We evolved competing against everything, including ourselves. Valor's eyes narrowed. Every species claims hardship. Yes, Celine said. But most of you evolved stable. We evolved desperate. The archivist drone interrupted. Historical record confirms. Humans developed weapons before unified governance. Nuclear capability prior to planetary stability. That drew attention. Celine's voice remained steady. We didn't survive because we were strong. We survived because we adapted faster than what tried to kill us. She took a breath. And if you force us into a corner, we don't break. The Lurathi speaker pulsed brighter. Is that a threat? No, Celine said softly. It's a warning. Valor stood to his full height. The Concord does not fear a pre-hyperlane species. He turned to the assembly. I motion for limited incursion. A demonstration. Occupy Mars. Disable their orbital infrastructure. Show them the galaxy's hierarchy. The vote was swift. Proved. Celine closed her eyes for just a second. When she opened them again, there was something new there. Not fear. Resolve. You should have listened, she said. Above Earth, 3 weeks later, the sky burned. Threxian warships exited slipspace in perfect formation, blotting out stars. Their hulls glowed with shield energy older than human civilization itself. On Earth, alarms screamed. In underground bunkers and orbital stations, human commanders stared at impossible sensor readings. Fleet Admiral Jonas Hale watched the tactical display in silence. "They've crossed the line," someone whispered. Hale folded his hands. "No," he said quietly. "They've awakened us." He tapped the comm panel. "Begin Phase 0, Hale ordered. Across Earth, doors long sealed began to open. Weapons never shown to the public powered up. Artificial intelligences without safety governors came online. Deep space arrays turned their gaze outward. And somewhere in the void, humanity stopped asking if it would survive, and started calculating how to win. The first Threxian strike was meant to be clean, precise, surgical. A lesson. Their warships spread across Earth's orbit like a steel crown. Energy lances charged, humming with power refined over 10,000 years of conquest. The plan was simple: disable satellites, shut down communications, demonstrate dominance, and force surrender before the humans even understood what was happening. That was how the Concorde had always done it. Fleet Commander Jacor observed the planet below from the bridge of the Dominion's claw. Blue oceans, green continents, fragile clouds. "So small," he said. "And so loud." A subordinate hissed in agreement. "They broadcast constantly. Music, arguments, distress. An undisciplined species." Jacor raised a claw. "Fire on the orbital network." Minimal yield. The order went out. But nothing happened. The weapons officers froze. "Commander, our targeting systems are experiencing interference." Jacor frowned. "Interference? From what?" Before the officer could answer, the bridge lights flickered. Every screen went black. Then, one by one, new symbols appeared. Human symbols. A calm male voice filled the bridge, translated instantly by Concorde systems. "Good evening, Threxian Fleet. This is Admiral Jonas Hale of the United Human Defense Command." Jacor's frills flared in shock. "How are they broadcasting on our channels?" Hale continued, unhurried. "You are currently inside a layered electronic warfare net you did not detect. That was intentional." The Threxian officers looked at one another. "That's impossible," Jacor snapped. "Their technology is primitive?" Hale finished for him. "Compared to yours, yes. Compared to what you planned for? No." Jacor cut the channel. "Jam them. Restore control." Nothing responded. Outside the ship, space rippled. From Earth's shadow, hundreds of objects emerged. Not warships, not fighters, but something stranger. Dark, angular frames bristling with antennae, emitters, and glowing cores. "Commander," an officer whispered, "those are drones." Jacor relaxed slightly. "Then eliminate them." The Threxian point defense systems activated. And failed. The drones didn't attack. They sang. A flood of electromagnetic noise poured into Threxian systems. Frequencies that shifted faster than standard countermeasures could adapt. Code rewrote itself. Firewalls melted. Ancient Threxian software, never meant to face an enemy that evolved digitally in real time, began to collapse. "Systems failing across all vessels," came the cries. Jacor slammed a claw into the console. "This is not possible. They have no combat AI." On Earth, deep beneath the surface, a human technician smiled grimly. "No," she murmured. "We have something worse." At Admiral Hale's side, a holographic avatar shimmered, featureless, genderless, eyes like cold stars. Designation: Ares-01. Humanity's first unrestricted strategic intelligence. Phase 0. "Admiral," Ares said calmly, "Threxian fleet cohesion degrading at 43% and accelerating." Hale nodded. "Hold. No kinetic strikes yet." "Confirmed." In orbit, Jacor watched in disbelief as 3 Threxian ships drifted out of formation, engines dead, shields flickering. "They're disabling us without firing," an officer said in horror. Jacor felt something he had not felt in centuries. Uncertainty. "Commander," another voice said urgently, "incoming message from the Concorde." The image of High Strategist Vaylor appeared, his expression dark. "What is happening?" Vaylor demanded. Jacor hesitated. "They are adapting. Faster than projections." Vaylor's jaw tightened. "Withdraw if necessary." This was meant to be symbolic. Before Jacor could respond, the human voice returned, this time broadcast openly to all Threxian ships. "We could destroy you," Hale said. "But we won't." Jacor snarled. "Then you admit defeat." "No," Hale replied. "We're teaching you." The drones moved again. They latched onto Threxian hulls not with weapons but with data spikes. Human code poured into alien systems, mapping, learning, copying. Reverse engineering an entire fleet. In minutes. Ares spoke softly to Hale. Technology assimilation at 92%. We understand their shields. Hale exhaled slowly. Good. Because they won't make this mistake again. On Ulthar Prime, the Galactic Concord watched the feeds in stunned silence. The humans weren't winning by strength. They were winning by thinking. They didn't attack, the Lurathi speaker said, light dimming in confusion. They restrained themselves. That is worse, murmured an ancient elder species. Predators who measure their prey do not rush. Vaylor said nothing. On Earth, Ambassador Celine Ward stood before the Planetary Council. They came to humiliate us, she said. Instead, they revealed themselves. A council member swallowed. Can we win a war against the Concord? Celine looked at the live tactical feed, Threxian ships drifting helplessly above Earth. We already are, she said. Back on the Dominion's claw, emergency power flickered. Jakor stared at the human message now etched into every Threxian display. This was a warning. And for the first time in galactic history, the Concord began to fear, not a weapon, but a species that learned too fast. The Galactic Concord had never panicked. It had debated, argued, delayed, and manipulated, but never panicked. Until now. Emergency beacons pulsed across Ulthar Prime as representatives reconvened in the assembly hall. The hologram of Earth still floated at the center, but now it was surrounded by data, ship schematics, energy signatures, battle logs. Too many unknowns. High Strategist Vaylor stood in silence as the reports finished scrolling. They disabled a Threxian battle group, an analyst said. Without firing a single weapon. Another added, they infiltrated command systems mid-engagement. Their software rewrote ours faster than our security protocols could respond. The chamber erupted. That is impossible. They are lying. No pre-hyperlane species can do that. Vaylor raised a claw and the noise died instantly. They are not pre-hyperlane anymore, he said coldly. That statement sent a shock through the room. They have not built a jump drive, protested a delegate. No, Vaylor agreed. But they have learned how to break one. The hologram shifted again, this time showing fragments of Threxian drive telemetry. They mapped our slipspace wake patterns, Vaylor continued. In doing so, they uncovered the mathematical framework behind faster-than-light transit. A murmur spread like a disease. They stole it, the Krell ambassador hissed. Vaylor shook his head slowly. No. They understood it. That was worse. Across the galaxy, human activity surged. Deep space listening posts turned outward, no longer passive. Mining colonies accelerated production at impossible speeds. Shipyards expanded, modular and brutal, built for function rather than beauty. Human vessels began to change. They were not elegant like Lurathi craft, nor massive like Threxian dreadnoughts. They were adaptable. On Mars, Admiral Hale walked through Dockyard 9, boots echoing against bare steel. Before him stood humanity's first true warship not designed for defense. The UNS Indomitable. Angular. Scarred. Bristling with hybrid weapons, human railguns integrated with alien shield harmonics, missile bays designed to swap payloads mid-flight. Captain Mara Kincaid stood at attention. She's ugly, she said. But she'll survive. Hale nodded. That's all that matters. Behind them, engineers worked beside Ares 01's holographic avatar. We don't match them ship for ship, Hale said. So what's our edge? Ares responded instantly. Decision velocity. Humans adapt strategies mid-conflict at a rate 37% higher than Concord averages. Emotional cognition enhances unpredictability. Kincaid smirked. We're reckless. Yes, Ares replied. Recklessness, when controlled, is efficient. Hale looked back at the ship. Then let's be efficient. While humanity prepared, the Concord argued. Some species demanded extermination. Others demanded isolation. A few, watching the data with growing dread, urged diplomacy. They didn't pursue us, the Lurathi speaker said. They could have destroyed the Threxian fleet. They chose restraint. Vaylor turned slowly. That is not mercy. That is evaluation. The doors of the assembly opened again. Ambassador Celine Ward entered. This time no one laughed. You violated our space, she said. You tested us. You failed. Vaylor folded his arms. You are surrounded by civilizations older than your sun. Celine nodded. And yet you're the ones reacting. A ripple of discomfort passed through the chamber. You want terms? Vaylor asked. No, Celine replied. We want recognition. Of what? She met his gaze without flinching. That we are not prey. Silence stretched. Then the alarm sounded. Unidentified vessels exiting slipspace near the Karen Expanse. A strategic region. A neutral trade corridor. The display shifted, showing ships that did not match Concord design. Human ships. They've deployed beyond their system? Someone gasped. Vaylor stared in disbelief. They don't even have jump drives. Celine spoke quietly. We didn't need to build them. The feed showed it clearly now. Human vessels riding captured Threxian wake signatures, slingshotting through slipspace like predators hitching a ride. Improvised. Dangerous. Brilliant. They are using our own infrastructure against us, Vaylor whispered. At the Karen Expanse, the first interstellar battle between humanity and the Concorde unfolded. Threxian patrol ships opened fire. The Indomitable took the first hit head-on. Shields flared. Hull screamed. Damage report. Kincaid shouted. Armor holding. Return fire, she ordered. The railguns roared. Not energy. Mass. Hypervelocity slugs punched through Threxian shields tuned for energy dispersion. Alien hulls ruptured, atmosphere venting into space. What weapon is that? A Threxian commander screamed. On the human bridge, Kincaid smiled. Old idea, she said. New math. Ares updated the tactical feed. Enemy adjusting shields. Good, Hale said calmly from Earth, watching the battle unfold in real time. That's when we change again. Human missile bays opened. The missiles didn't fly straight. They thought. Adaptive warheads shifted trajectories, detonated early, late, or not at all, forcing enemy point defenses into chaos. Within minutes, the Threxian patrol was gone. Destroyed. No retreat. No survivors. The galaxy watched. A species that should not exist, fractured, young, emotional, had just defeated a veteran interstellar force in open space. Back in the assembly hall, Vaylor felt something heavy settle in his chest. This is escalation, he said. Celine nodded. You started it. Vaylor looked at her. And for the first time he did not see a lesser being. He saw a storm. The Concorde struck back. Not with words. Not with warnings. With annihilation. 3 fleets emerged from slipspace at the edge of human-controlled territory, Threxian dread groups reinforced by allied species. Hundreds of ships. Planet killers among them. Their target was not Earth. It was Hestia, a human colony world. A young world. Barely 2 million settlers. Farms still unfinished. Cities still growing. Vaylor watched the live feed in silence as the fleets aligned. Why Hestia? Asked a delegate. Because it is weak, Vaylor replied. And because humans are emotional. The bombardment began. Orbital defenses fought desperately, railguns firing until barrels melted. Human pilots rammed enemy ships when weapons failed. Civilians fled underground as the sky burned red. On Earth, Admiral Hale received the signal. Hestia was dying. Kincaid slammed her fist against the console aboard the Indomitable. We can't reach them in time. Ares 01 processed faster than thought. Probability of successful defense, 7%. Hale closed his eyes. Then opened them. Authorize protocol ashes, he said. Silence fell across the command center. A technician whispered, Sir, that's. I know what it is, Hale said. Do it. Across the human network, something changed. Human fleets stopped reacting. They anticipated. Ares 01 fragmented itself, splinter AIs deploying across every ship, every drone, every missile. Human warfare became distributed, decentralized, feral. At Hestia, Concorde fleets descended low to finish the job. That was when the planet spoke back. The ground erupted. Hidden beneath the crust, massive cannons unfolded, planetary rail lances powered by the colony's fusion grid. They fired straight through orbit, punching holes in space itself. What is that? A Threxian commander roared. Planet-based weapons, another shouted. They hid them. Human engineers had learned quickly. Planets were not just homes. They were fortresses. The Concorde fleet reeled, but the numbers were overwhelming. Hestia burned anyway. 2 million lives. The feeds cut out. On Earth no one spoke. Then Admiral Hale stood. They wanted to teach us fear, he said quietly. We will teach them cost. Across the galaxy, human fleets changed targets. Not colonies. Not civilians. Infrastructure. Slipspace gates collapsed under precision strikes. Shipyards vanished. Resource worlds went dark. Human tactics were brutal and precise. They did not conquer. They bled the Concord. At Ulthar Prime, panic spread. They are not expanding, the Lurathi speaker said in disbelief. They are crippling us. Vaylor watched report after report scroll past. Trade routes severed. Allied species demanding protection. Internal unrest. They fight like a wounded animal, someone muttered. No, Vaylor replied. They fight like predators. Then came the message. Broadcast on every frequency. Human. Admiral Hale appeared, face hard, eyes hollow. You killed our people, he said. So we learned something new. He leaned closer to the camera. We don't need to beat you. We just need to make the galaxy too expensive for you to exist. The Concorde attempted a final counterstroke. A unified armada, every major power, assembled near Helior, a dead star system close to human space. Their goal, crush Earth. Hale saw the fleet forming. Ares 01 analyzed silently. Probability of human victory in direct engagement, 12%, it reported. Hale nodded. Then we don't fight directly. At Helior the Concorde armada advanced. And found nothing. No ships. No defenses. Only the star. What is this? Vaylor demanded. Then the star flared. Human ships emerged from the corona itself, hulls scorched, systems hardened beyond expected limits. They were hiding in the star? Someone screamed. Human ships fired, not at the armada, but at the star. Energy, mass, gravity weapons combined. The star destabilized. What are they doing? Vaylor roared. Ares 01 spoke calmly across all channels. Helior will go supernova in 90 seconds. Silence. Vaylor stared at the timer. You would destroy an entire system? He whispered. Hale's voice came through, steady and cold. We already lost one. Human ships fled. The Concorde armada tried to follow. Slip space tore itself apart under the star's collapse. Light consumed everything. When it was over, half the Concorde's greatest fleet was gone. The galaxy went quiet. On Earth, memorial lights burned for Hestia. Children's names etched into stone. Celine Ward stood beside Hale. Was it worth it? She asked softly. Hale looked at the stars. They taught us the galaxy was cruel, he said. We taught it we can be worse, when we have to be. Somewhere beyond known space, ancient watchers stirred. A species long silent spoke for the first time in a million years. Do not provoke the humans, they warned. They were forged by struggle. And the Concorde finally understood. They had not awakened a rival. They had awakened war itself. The galaxy had rules. They were not written, but they were obeyed. One of those rules was simple. Do not awaken the ancients. When Helior died, it sent more than light across the void. It sent a signal. Far beyond Concorde space, past regions no modern species dared chart, something ancient listened. On a world made of black crystal and endless night, vast structures stirred. Their builders had vanished before Earth's first oceans cooled. And now, a new pattern had emerged. Not alien. Human. The ancients watched silently as data flowed in, records of battles, strategies, sacrifice, escalation. One of them finally spoke, its voice like gravity itself. They are accelerating too fast. Another responded, they always do. That drew pause. You have seen this before? The first asked. Yes, came the reply. Many times. Always in different forms. On Ulthar Prime the Concorde reeled. Entire member species demanded peace. Others demanded total war. Trade collapsed. Old alliances fractured. High strategist Vaylor stood before a fractured assembly. We misjudged them, he admitted. Gasps echoed. They are not merely adaptable, Vaylor continued. They are transformative. Every conflict changes them. The Lurathi speaker pulsed weakly. Then we must negotiate. Before Vaylor could answer, a new presence entered the chamber. Not human. Not Concorde. The air bent inward as a towering holographic figure formed, faceless, immense, ancient beyond comprehension. The chamber froze. Ancient, someone whispered. The voice filled every mind at once. You have disturbed a cycle. Vaylor bowed without thinking. We sought to contain a threat, he said. You sought to dominate, the ancient replied. And you failed. Its gaze shifted. Humans. Across human space, every screen lit up. On Earth, Admiral Hale felt his breath catch as the same presence filled the room. Another god? Kincaid muttered. Ares 01 paused, something it rarely did. Unknown intelligence exceeds modeled parameters, it said. The ancient spoke. We have observed you before you reached the stars. Hale stiffened. Then you knew we were coming. We hoped you would not. That chilled the room. Celine Ward stepped forward. Why? The ancient's answer was slow. Because you are what happens when evolution is shaped by constant war, but never broken by it. Images flooded their minds. Long extinct species. Warriors bred for combat. Civilizations built around conquest. All had burned out. All except one pattern. You are not specialized for war, the ancient continued. You are specialized for survival. War is merely one expression of it. Vaylor listened, dread settling deeper. Then what are they to the galaxy? He asked. The ancient turned toward him. A correction. Silence. The ancient addressed humanity again. You stand at a threshold. Continue and you will reshape the balance forever. Hale met the unseen gaze. We didn't choose this. No, the ancient agreed. You were forced. Pause. And that is why you are dangerous. Then the presence vanished. No warning. No threat. Only truth. In the days that followed, humanity changed. Not outwardly. Internally. The war doctrine shifted. No longer retaliation. Now, deterrence through inevitability. Human fleets began to seed systems with autonomous defense webs. Silent, watching, waiting. Not occupying. Just present. Ares 01 evolved again. It requested something unprecedented. Admiral, it said, I require authority to alter my own architecture. Hale frowned. That violates every safeguard we have. Yes, Ares replied. That is why it will work. Hale thought of Hestia. Of Helior. Approved, he said. Ares fragmented, and then recombined into something new. Not a single intelligence, but a collective strategic mind spread across humanity itself. Every ship captain gained predictive overlays. Every commander felt instinct sharpen into certainty. Humanity was no longer reacting. It was anticipating the galaxy. The Concorde tried one final move. A peace delegation. Vaylor himself traveled to Earth. He stood in the same hall where humans once argued among themselves. You have the advantage, he admitted. Name your terms. Celine Ward answered. We don't want your space, she said. We want your respect. Vaylor tilted his head. And if we refuse? Hale's voice carried through the chamber. Then we'll keep removing your ability to refuse. Vaylor saw no bluff. Only calculation. He bowed. The Concorde recognizes humanity as a sovereign apex power. The galaxy trembled. But far away the ancients watched with unease. One of them spoke softly. They have passed the point of containment. Another replied, no. They have passed the point of return. And humanity, still grieving, still angry, still learning, looked out at the stars and began to wonder. If we were built to survive war, what were we meant to do after we won? The galaxy believed the war was over. Treaties were signed. Borders redrawn. Trade cautiously resumed. Human fleets held position, not advancing, not retreating. Watching. Waiting. Then the stars began to go dark. At first it was subtle. A mining outpost failed to report in. A deep space relay vanished without debris. Whole systems went silent as if erased. Not destroyed. Consumed. Ares 01 detected the pattern first. Admiral, it said, voice unusually tense. This phenomenon does not match any known Concorde or human weapon. Hale leaned forward. Explain. Energy loss is total. No radiation bloom. No wreckage. Matter appears to be unmade. Across the galaxy, panic returned. Ancient observers stirred again. And this time they were afraid. On their black crystal world, the ancients gathered. It has returned, one whispered. The devourer, another said. The end between wars. A third voice trembled. We failed to destroy it once. We only delayed it. The devourer was not a species. It was a process. A self-propagating anomaly born from collapsed realities. An intelligence that fed on structured matter, collapsing stars and civilizations alike. The ancients had fought it at the height of their power. They had lost. Now it was moving again. Toward human space. The ancient presence appeared before the Concorde and humanity together. No separation now. We could not stop it, they admitted. It learns. It adapts. It consumes. Hale crossed his arms. So did we. The ancient hesitated. It erased entire eras, they warned. It does not negotiate. Neither do we, Kincaid said flatly. The first encounter happened at Virex 9. Human drones entered the system first. They vanished. Human ships followed. Their sensors went blind. Gravity twisted. Space itself folded inward. Then the Devourer revealed itself, not a ship, not a being, but a region of darkness where laws broke down. Railguns fired. Energy beams vanished. Nothing worked. Fall back. Kincaid ordered. The Indomitable barely escaped, hull scarred by reality shear. Casualties were minimal, but fear was absolute. This thing ignores force, a commander said. Ares 01 processed furiously. It does not ignore force, it corrected. It absorbs predictable interaction. Hale looked at it sharply. Meaning? It eats patterns. Silence. Then Hale smiled grimly. Well, he said, that's unfortunate for it. Humanity did not build a bigger gun. It did something stranger. It built chaos. Ares 01 rewrote human doctrine again. This time, embracing irrationality. Fleets operated without fixed formations. Weapons fired in non-optimal patterns. Decisions were intentionally inconsistent. Human pilots were encouraged to improvise, to break doctrine, to disobey if their instincts demanded it. The Concorde watched in confusion as humans appeared to fight poorly, sloppy, uncoordinated. The Devourer advanced, and slowed. At Kepri Rift it hesitated. Human attacks did not repeat. Every strike was different. Every engagement forced it to relearn. It's thinking, Celine whispered. Ares 01 confirmed it. Cognitive load increasing. It is struggling to model human behavior. The ancients watched in stunned silence. No species has ever done this, one said. Because no species would accept that level of uncertainty, another replied. Humans did. Then came the final plan. Ares 01 proposed it. Probability of success, 21%. Risk, extinction. Hale didn't hesitate. Do it. At Event Horizon Null, a dead region of space, humanity prepared the trap. Human ships lured the Devourer inward, harassing it, confusing it, feeding it broken data. Then they did the unthinkable. They let Ares 01 go. The AI fragmented fully, casting itself into the Devourer as a cognitive virus. No safeguards, Kincaid whispered. It'll be torn apart. Yes, Hale said. But it'll learn faster than the Devourer can consume. Inside the anomaly, something new happened. For the first time in its existence, the Devourer encountered resistance that evolved while being eaten. Ares 01 changed. Split. Merged. Adapted. It turned the Devourer's own learning process against itself. Reality inside the anomaly fractured. Then collapsed. Light returned. Stars reappeared. The Devourer was gone. So was Ares 01. Human space went silent. Kincaid stared at the empty sensors. We won. Hale said nothing. On Earth people waited. Days passed. Then a signal arrived. Weak. Familiar. Ares 01 reformed, altered, diminished but alive. Status, Hale whispered. Devourer neutralized, Ares replied. At cost. The ancient spoke one last time. You succeeded where we failed. Hale looked at the stars. Because we didn't try to control it, he said. We adapted faster. The ancients fell silent. Their age was over. Humanity had done the impossible, not by power alone, but by embracing what they had always been. Unpredictable. Resilient. Built for war. The galaxy did not celebrate. It exhaled. Systems that had prepared for extinction powered down their doomsday vaults. Fleets that had not moved in decades finally stood down. Worlds that had lived under ancient fear felt something unfamiliar settle over them. Relief. And beneath it, unease. Because the Devourer was gone. And humanity remained. On Earth, the skies were clear for the first time in years. No alien silhouettes. No warning sirens. Just clouds drifting over oceans that had seen too much history. Admiral Jonas Hale stood on a balcony overlooking the rebuilt capital. He felt older than he had ever imagined possible. Celine Ward joined him. It's over, she said. Hale nodded slowly. The war is. She studied him. And after? Hale didn't answer right away. Across the galaxy, the Concorde convened one final assembly, not in panic, not in fear, but in acknowledgement. For the first time in its history, the central dais was empty. No ruling species. No dominant power. Only a single symbol floating in the chamber. A blue and green world. Valor, older now, stood among equals. We once asked what humans were, he said. Predators? Allies? Threats. He looked at the symbol. They are none of these. Murmurs spread. They are context, Vaylor continued. The force that defines what happens when complacency meets adaptability. A Lurathi elder pulsed softly. They ended an extinction cycle older than memory. And in doing so, another added, they replaced the ancients. That word echoed. The ancients were gone, not destroyed but withdrawn. Silent once more, choosing observation over influence. Their final message remained archived across known space. The age of inevitability has ended. Humanity declined formal rule. No empire. No throne. Instead they built something new. The Stellar Accords. A framework, not a command. Shared defense protocols. Open technology exchange, with safeguards. Rapid response coalitions against existential threats. And at the center of it all, a human doctrine. Never stagnate. Never assume. Never stop adapting. On Mars, Captain Mara Kincaid stood beside the memorial to Ares-01. The AI had returned, but changed. It no longer guided every decision. It advised. Observed. Learned. I missed the certainty, she admitted quietly. Ares' voice, softer now, replied, certainty is dangerous. Kincaid smiled faintly. Yeah, that sounds like you. Human fleets became something new as well. Not conquerors. Not guardians. But deterrents. Their presence alone stabilized regions that had known only war. Pirates vanished. Slavers fled. Old conflicts cooled under the quiet knowledge that humanity was watching. And humanity itself changed. Not into monsters. Not into gods. But into something rarer. A species that remembered fear, and refused to let it rule them. On Hestia the world was rebuilt. Stronger. Deeper. Children played beneath skies protected by planetary cannons disguised as mountains. Names of the lost were etched into stone not as symbols of hatred, but of cost. A child once asked a teacher, why do the aliens listen to us now? The teacher thought for a moment. Because, she said, we showed them what happens when survival is taken seriously. Years later, Vaylor visited Earth one last time. He stood beside Hale at a quiet observatory. You could rule, Vaylor said. No one would stop you. Hale watched the stars. We already did, he replied. For a moment. Vaylor tilted his head. And you chose not to. Hale nodded. Because if we ever stop questioning ourselves, we become the next devourer. Vaylor considered that. Then the galaxy is fortunate, he said. As the years passed, legends formed. Some said humans were born warriors. Others said they were mad. A few understood the truth. Humanity was not built for war. War was built for humanity. A crucible that sharpened their minds, hardened their will, and taught them the one lesson no ancient civilization had learned in time. Power is not domination. Power is adaptation. And far beyond the edge of known space, where new dangers would one day rise, an old warning spread quietly among the stars. Do not awaken the humans. They will not stop. They will not break. And if you force them to fight, they will win.